right, thank you guys for joining us for our March 20th, 2018 podcast of the Rebel Trading Group. My name is Nathan Oliphant, and with me again, as always, is the gluten-free Jason Bessings.
The gluten-free
Today,
Jason.
today is Tuesday. It's a great market day for me. How about you, Jason?
Today I struggled a little, and it's mostly just because of my derivatives. But I mean, my long-term holdings did well, but my short-term holdings not so much. But it's okay.
Your derivatives brought you down?
Yeah, just a little bit, but it's okay because my core holdings are going up. So whatever.
That's what's important. That's your retirement.
Yeah, the retirement money is good. The play money not so much.
How did you end today?
Today I ended out down 2%.
I ended up 0.87%, a total of $2.33.
Very nice, very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, the market was a little bit weird today. I mean, I honestly I was busy all day. I didn't get to check it too much, but from what I saw, things were either really up or really down. The Dow finished up. She was the leader for the day, but only about a 0.5%. Nasdaq a 0.25%. S&P only 0.15%. Very. That's not even an up day. That's just sideways. That's nothing special. Bitcoin though up 6.25% the past 24-hour period, trading at almost the 9,000. She's at 8,932. So she's creeping along. She's creeping along.
She's
She's
on a
not
bull run.
anywhere near her highs. Yeah.
She's on a bull run right
Uh,
now.
yeah. Your big loser today, your biggest market mover today, believe it or not. How about General Electric? The General.
GE.
Yeah, we all know General Electric, and for the viewers who haven't been in the markets and don't understand, GE has been struggling, ever since before the recession of '08. Uh, they spin off all these extra divisions. We all know who GE is, right? General Electric, it's been around since like the 1800s.
Are they
Make
a
light
utility
bulbs and
company?
cables.
Okay.
No, they
Okay.
just they manufacture things. They have energy departments. They do a lot with locomotives.
Yeah. I don't know
You
why
know,
I thought they provided utility services to people.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that they wanted to try and experiment on at one point with one of their divisions. Like at
Sure.
one point during the recession, they had an entire banking division.
Hmm.
Like it was called GE Finance. It literally had nothing to do with the electric economy or anything like that. It was,
Hmm.
banking, finance. Like why?
Weird.
That came to bite them right in the ass. That took away like 25% of their entire like market cap when everything went down. But ever since then, GE, even today, is still struggling. They're doing some serious overhauling, trying to keep up with the times. Been a lagger of the Dow 30 for quite some time now. I remember trading her in the high 30s, wanting to get into in around the 33, $36 range. And today, Nathan, she closed at 1364.
Beautiful.
3% down day. So that pretty much is what held the market from going or held the Dow at least from going a little bit higher. But I just wanted to share that. I was talking with a buddy earlier. GE, it's one of those companies that in theory, you put your money there, and it's going to be there when you retire. Coca-Cola, Johnson and Johnson, stuff like that. Wow, I use Coca-Cola a lot, don't I?
I mean, it's
Hang
a
on.
good company.
It is a good company, but it's a good example too, because Coca-Cola's not going to go anywhere. Are they going to struggle here and there? Yeah, that's every business. But GE is also on that list, and it's still like $130 billion company. It's not going anywhere. It's just struggling. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for her to put in a bottom. I'm 1364. That's cheap, man. And if it's something you're willing to hold 10 to 20 years, I think it's going to work out in your favor. It still pays that small dividend that they cut, but if you can ride out the CEO changes and all the board changes and all that, I feel like it could have a little bit of potential, in
Yeah.
my personal opinion. So
Okay.
that was the markets today, and a little sidebar on GE.
Did you go over
Um,
all the markets or just the Dow?
Yeah, no, I went over
Okay.
them. Dow
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
about a half, Nasdaq up about a 0.25%, S&P up 0.15, and then your Bitcoin 6.25% on the day. That's a gain.
Yeah.
That's a move. So Nathan, what are we learning about today?
Today we are going over one of my favorite topics is market research. really, when you want to invest in the market, you don't just want to, go off your guts and say, like, Coca-Cola is a good company. They make Coke. I know
Yeah.
Coke. And that's a good
Yeah.
company. There's other things behind the curtain of companies, basically their key financials. Um, each quarter, companies come out with earnings report, but it takes really, I mean, I feel like it takes a finance degree or something to really get into that.
Hmm.
Did you want to start anywhere? You want me to go ahead and just dive in?
So before we go on, just one quick point I want to cover so that we're not confusing people. There's two different types of research or analysis, if you will. There's your fundamental research and your technical research.
We're gonna
Your
go into both
fundamentals,
today.
yeah, we'll touch a little bit on both.
Yeah,
Technical
we're
is
not gonna
more
go too
so.
deep into technical because it's really
Oh man,
it's
that's a whole nother
yeah.
podcast. That's not even another episode. That's a whole nother podcast.
But today we're
But
really just gonna show you like how to find this information and really what's in more podcasts will tell you what's good information and really how to really make a good decision on that.
So getting into like the super deep, like the financials, the cash flow, the payout ratios, getting into like the numbers of the business, what kind of analysis is that?
Oh, that is fundamental analysis for your boy.
Exactly. All right. And that's what we're going to be talking about mostly today.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
uh,
yeah.
so where do you start with your fundamental
Well,
analysis?
a lot of people, I know some people refer to fundamental analysis as value investing. That's where they start as, because you got to think of a value investor and then a kind of a trader as two different kind of people. A trader will look at more of technical analysis of when to enter and exit a stock, when a value investor will look at more of the fundamentals and know that this is a good stock and this is going to be good for me in the long run. You know?
Yeah, like your short-term traders or your long-term investors.
Exactly. So,
Exactly.
the first thing I do for a company, for a stock, is really first I look at my Robinhood app. If you guys don't know what Robinhood is yet, you should check it out. Commission-free trading, no account minimums. And Robinhood kind of puts up its own kind of key ratios, I guess, or
Hmm.
key, what do you call
Key
it?
like statistics,
Yeah, financials
kind of like
almost.
key instant like quick
Hmm.
overlook information.
Like market cap, their average volume, their current volume, where they opened, their high on the day, their low on the day, their year high, their year low, their price per earnings ratio, and their dividend yield. I'll look at that and then I'll kind of read the description of what they do. Like if I don't really understand what they're doing, and I kind of like look at the market and the economy and say, well, that doesn't seem really good for the economy right now, then I'll kind of throw a red flag up and I'll say, no, I won't do that. Um, yeah, after that, one of my main go-tos is Morningstar. I know they've updated their website, which kind of I think it's really shitty, to be honest, their update. And like every time they've asked me on a poll, what do you think of the new update? I always like take the poll and be like, it's really shitty. I really
Mm.
can't find like a lot of your key ratios anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely not as user friendly as it once was. That's for sure.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was it was a beautiful site. Like it just had so much information, like literally right at the click of a button. Like any ETF, any fund, bonds, preferred stocks, anything.
Holdings. Yeah,
And
it tells you.
it was a very powerful tool. And granted, it's still there. It's just not as easy and user friendly. And I feel like they got rid of some of the better things and put in some dumb things.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know. I don't run that company, so
I feel like I haven't really like taken the time to given the new Morningstar a chance, but I definitely
yeah, I'm
look
sure
at
if we played with it, we could figure it out. Giggity.
yeah. So the second place I look after Robinhood, after you decide on the stock that you're going to research, I always go to Morningstar first. So if you're gonna do how me and Jason are doing it, what we do is we type into Google. Um, for example, right now on my laptop, I have Apple up. I type into Google. I type Apple. I type in the ticker number. I type in AAPL and then space Morningstar. And then I think it's like the third or fourth one. It's whatever the quotes.morningstar.com um, Morningstar page is. That's the one I use. And if you look on that page, it shows the 1 month chart. It shows you pulls up the 1 month chart, and you can change that to the week chart, and the 1-day chart and see how that's doing. It tells you a little bit about what the company does. It's got a little excerpt of the analysis report. And at the top of the page, it has very key ratios to start. One ratio that I look for is the PE ratio, the price per earnings ratio, and I'm sure we'll get into that in the fundamentals podcast coming up soon.
Mm. Ooh, that might be
Yeah.
next week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe just a dividend episode.
Yeah, we got a lot of material coming up, man.
Oh man, you guys are gonna love it.
Yeah.
Continue though.
Um, but Morningstar, it puts up underneath its graph, it's got its company profile. It tells you what sector it's in, what industry in, and what kind of stock type it is. For Apple, it's a large core holding. That's what Morningstar rates it. I believe the matrix that Morningstar shows is the Morningstar Matrix. What that is, it shows you it's basically a 9 cube uh, matrix, and it shows you at the top is large caps, and in the middle is cores, and on the left is growth or value or something like that. You got to look it up.
Yeah, Apple's one of those rare growth and value.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, Apple's a weird stock, and believe it or not. So
Yeah.
that's another story, though.
So definitely I go to Morningstar first. If you're going to kind of just wing it and just kind of find a good company, one of my favorite websites is finviz.com. Have you ever been there?
I might have been there once, but I don't use it. I don't give it the credit it deserves,
Oh,
and
it's
that's
great.
that's because I use the E-Trade broker platform.
Okay. Tell me
And
about it.
well, I like it. E-Trade is very powerful. Granted, you get what you pay for. I'm gonna do a little Robinhood plug at the end of the episode. You know, I feel like they deserve it, and I'm gonna plug them out for like a good 2-3 minutes. But I use E-Trade, and you know they're the big mofo powerhouse broker house out there. And like I said, you get what you pay for. So I pay a commission every time I trade stocks or options. But I have access to a lot of different investment tools. There's charting software. There's market research data. I can like start new files and like open projects about and like put in these algorithms to where if this stock drops below this and this stock drops below this, I want to buy, like I can set up all this complex stuff and I can get some really in-depth information between like who in the company is buying the stock, is the CEO selling the stock. I get a lot more news directly on that. So there's just a lot more info that's available on that, but once again, you know, I pay for it. I, you know, have an E-Trade account that has a minimum, and I pay fees and commissions, but you get what you pay for.
And a lot of like when you're doing a lot of market research, I want to say typically or generally, whenever you're researching it on whatever site, if it's FinViz, if it's Morningstar, or even Robinhood has it, they'll have like headlines about the company. Like Morningstar, it says Morningstar commentary, and it's got headlines. And today, from fucking Zach's research, I hate Zach's. It says, is the route in tech ETFs transitionary? It just tells like different news about it, like if people are doing mergers and stuff like that, different things here and there.
hmm So FinViz is primarily like, would you say it's like overall investment research stuff? Because I know there's a lot of sites out there that are specifically one thing. Like obviously, like Y charts is
Yeah.
specifically charts. You're not going to
hmm
get a lot more other information on that. And you go to Yahoo Finance, you're going to get more news stories, and you'll get some charts and some stuff. But you know, so what does FinViz like specialize in? Like what's something someone should go to FinViz for compared to other sites?
Absolutely everything you should go to FinViz for. If I'm going to
Really?
be completely honest, yeah. If you go to finviz.com, they have on their tabs it says Home, News, Screener, Maps, Groups, Portfolio. It's got a little tab that shows different options of their website, futures, forex, backtest, whatever. If you click on Screener, it literally has underneath the screen. Once you click on the Screener tab, it has 4 different tabs, and the 4 tabs are titled descriptive. So if you want, for example, a stock that was on a certain exchange. It gives you the Amex, the Nasdaq, and the New York Stock Exchange. If you wanted it just on the New York Stock Exchange, you could sort your stocks just by on the New York Stock Exchange. If you wanted it
Hmm.
on one index, you could sort it just on the Dow Jones or the S&P 500. If you wanted it in a
Or
certain
both.
sector, yeah, you could do both. Let me see if it has both. I'm on here right now.
I think no, like we said, Morningstar isn't as user friendly, but I've done that a few times on Morningstar to compare stocks to how volatile they are compared to the S&P and the Dow.
Hmm.
Um, and most stocks are more volatile than 500 stocks combined. But it's an interesting tool that you can just kind of see. You're like, oh, if the market goes up, how is this going to do? If the market goes down, how is this going to do? And it just gives you a snapshot of the bigger picture.
Yeah. And so, like, if you want like a certain like sector or certain industry or even country or even options or shorts or price range at that point, they have a descriptor tab that you can search by that point. And then they have the fundamentals tab that goes into different things like PE, price per cash, or price per free cash flow, earnings per share, gross margin, debt to equity, one of my favorite ratios, um, payout ratio, even that. They have all these different ratios. You can sort them by that, and it'll sort the stocks for you. And then it'll list it by the sector, industry, market cap, PE ratio, price, the current change, and the volume. They also have a technicals tab for the traders out there. They have 200-day simple moving averages, any gaps, candlesticks, betas, and performances. I think Finviz, if you're looking for if you're trying to find a stock that suits your trading style, I think Finviz is for you. Um,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and just do an example of how I kind of look for stocks on Finviz. I'm on the Finviz Screener tab right now under the Fundamentals tab. I like to consider myself a value investor, so I like to focus primarily on the fundamentals. I'm gonna go ahead and since I like debt equity, I like a under one, so I'm gonna click on low, and it gives you like a bunch of options. Like if you want like a really low one, leave under zero point 0.1 ratio, or over zero point 0.1 or over one ratio. Let's do low.
So it's a way to like Google search stocks.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So if I like, I'm just gonna off the top of my head, I want a technology company that has no debt, and I want it to have a market cap of over $2 billion. That's something I can search for.
I'm literally doing all
Like
that right now.
you can literally just pull it out of thin air and
Hmm.
pull every stock. That's fucking beautiful.
Isn't it?
Now I've used that on E-Trade, but the fact that that's available for free out there for the listeners, for you guys, people who don't want to use E-Trade. I'm not going to use E-Trade forever, but
Yeah.
it's awesome that that stuff is out there because that's exactly how you need to look for stocks. You got to know what you want. You don't
Hmm.
want shit to just come to you. That's how you get tempted.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, oh yeah, look at this. Did you see? Did you hear about GE today? Did you
A
hear
lot of
about it?
people, whenever I like kind of introduce, I guess is kind of loose term to say, introduce people into stock. They're like, yeah, AMD or the
Nvidia,
microprocessor, Nvidia, yeah,
Tesla.
yeah, Tesla's a perfect example because Tesla's really hyped right now, but Tesla has high debt and Tesla's burning through cash and they don't have an earnings right now. They have negative
Tesla has
earnings.
an insane amount of debt,
It's
and they have zero profits.
it's
But people
insane.
continue to invest in a company that does not make money.
It's insane. Tesla's insane. Let me put that on the.
Oh, but it's growth. It's the future, Nate. You got to just buy now. You just got to jump in. Just come in. Elon Musk, man. Cucks.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay. And what was I saying? When I introduce people, they always get these emotions. And personally, one thing I tell people about stock investing is put your emotions to the side. You
Oh, you
gotta
have to.
you have to put your gut away because your gut will what will happen is you'll succeed on the gut feeling, and then the next time you trust your gut, you'll fail.
Mhm.
Your gut does not know how to invest.
See, the problem is, and this happened to me. It might have even happened to you, but this always happens. I don't believe in luck, but beginner's luck in the stock market is a thing.
Oh yeah.
You will go out there uneducated. You will go out. You're going to make a trade. You're going to make a little bit of money. You're not going to get rich. You're not going to hit it big right off the bat, but you're going to see your $200 turn into 210 very quickly. And then you're going to say, oh, that was easy. And then you're just going to start going. That same exact thing has happened to me and way too many people I've talked to about this, because you get it in your head. You think that this is just too easy, that it's anyone can do it, and everything goes fairy la la land for a while. And then if you revert back to episode 1, I told you about my Smith and Wesson story, and I lost $90 while I was sleeping. I didn't have $90 to lose, Nathan.
That's funny.
I was in college. Like, that $90, that could have got me so much. You can stretch that for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, on college funds, yeah.
Yeah. Knowing how to do your research is, it's absolutely important. That's not something I learned for months, And so, Nathan, real quick, you said a lot of it, it sounds like you need like a finance degree to really go through. So if you need a finance degree, then why do we look at the ratios? Why do we look at the fundamentals if we don't understand it?
Well, there's these experts out there, and thank God for them. They interpret these earnings reports, and they put out these key ratios. So, companies will put out how much earnings per share they had. And it won't be if you've ever listened to an earnings report. Have you ever listened to one?
Oh my God. Yeah, I
It's
listened
dense.
to one. The only one I understood was a hotel. It was a hotel company that did a report, and I minored in hospitality management. So when they started talking about RevPAR and room blocking, I understood what that meant. But it gets into crazy. They get into crazy financial stuff that's just way above your head, like depreciating asset, amortization, and
Yeah.
there was one time. This isn't shit you think about, but I was big in Ford. Ford's my baby. And they were doing an earnings announcement, and they announced that while they were profitable all around the globe, due to an exchange rate in the yen, they lost money. What? Who thinks of that?
By the way, foreign exchange podcast coming up soon.
Oh, Forex.
Yeah,
I don't know much about it. I'm gonna be one of the listeners on that one. You're gonna have to educate me. I can contribute very little to that conversation. So I'm excited.
I'll lead the basic education for it.
I'm excited. So yeah, real quick, there's things in those earnings announcements that they talk about, and you're not going to understand unless you have masters in finance degrees and accounting degrees, and macroeconomics, and how taxes work, and you understand politics and commodities trade. There's so much to it that I don't think any one person can comprehend stuff unless they're the CEO, CFO, and they're immersed in it every single waking minute of the day.
And now I'm not saying it's impossible to understand. I'm sure you can.
Oh no, absolutely.
If you kind of put the time into, putting your waking seconds. But when these earnings reports, they sound really flowered. And they make it sound like they're doing a really good job. But in reality, they're most of the times, sometimes they aren't doing that well. For example, one earnings report I'd love to listen into is the bane of our existence in investing is Frontier Communications, ticker symbol FTR.
We're going to have a Frontier episode.
Yeah.
We need to have a disaster episode, just of all of the worst trades. Maybe we'll get some listeners to send some stuff in. That would be fun. Yeah, and we'll just talk about the worst of the worst. But go on, yeah, Frontier.
Yeah, and they just seem like so when we started investing in them, they just acquired some million users from Verizon, and they were saying,
I remember that. They bought out $750 million worth of space out of Tampa from Verizon.
And they're putting in fiber optics, and they're getting their user base up, and I mean, honestly, until now, has anybody honestly heard of Frontier Communications? I've seen literally one billboard in my whole life of Frontier Communications.
I saw a dude at, oh man, where was I? I was on a cruise ship in the casino, and some guy was wearing a red Frontier Communications hat.
Unbelievable.
And I wanted to go kick him right in the nards.
So that's a good segue into my next research point is the reason that I suggested Frontier Communications to OB Capital, our trust fund.
Our fictitious hedge trust fund.
Was because
retirement.
Of a spicy dividend, and I literally Googled highest yielding dividends.
Oh God, you went to Google for stocks. I did that. I've
It
been there.
happens. We've all made mistakes in the stock market, and this is one of them. I googled highest paying dividend stocks, and Frontier Communications, ticker symbol FTR, was at the top, and I think it was at like 16 or some odd percent. At like
Oh
a
yeah, it was nuts, and it was paying. No, I think at the time it wasn't that ridiculous. It was closer to like the 9-10 range, and it was like a $5.50 stock.
yeah. And
So like I
since
was
then
like, just
it's
load up, bro.
yeah.
Load up.
And
We need it.
I don't know why you took my advice on this to fucking do this.
We didn't.
After like a month of trading, you you said, yeah, do it. Let's do
No,
it.
better than you did, to be honest. You joined like 3 months after me. We didn't do. You know what it was, Nathan? We didn't use FinViz.
Yep.
We didn't use the E-Trade broker site. We didn't do anything. We didn't know what a PE ratio was.
Nope.
And we were trading stocks.
Yeah. Turns out
And
that Frontier Communications has a payout ratio that doesn't. Their earnings do not meet their dividends.
Not funny.
Yeah.
They're like 7-1 in debt. Every dollar that they have, they owe 7.
Yeah.
So when you're a like $250 million company, you do the math on that. So that stock went down to shit fast, and it still is to this day, continuing to go down.
Yeah. So that being said, when I look at a stock, I like dividend paying stocks. That being said, I know no more about dividend paying stocks than I did then when I invested in Frontier Communications. I looked to see if the dividend continues to be paid. At that time, Frontier Communication, I think they still do pay their dividend, if I'm going to be completely honest.
I believe they are still paying it.
I can check
However,
it real quick.
they're borrowing money to pay their dividend. Actually, no. If I'm correct, they just recently quit it.
Let's see, I have it coming up right now. So one thing I do like to look up is I'll do into Google. I'm sorry, but this is how I do it. Into Google, I type in, oh my God, their stock is so down.
And
They split into $15, and now it's at $7. It's basically
God,
cut in half.
they did
since they
reverse
split.
splits. Remember in last episode we did like, oh, Coca-Cola's at $100. We're gonna do a 5-to-1 split. So now you got 5 shares at $20.
Yeah, now imagine them doing a 1
Well,
to
now,
5.
yeah. Now do it the backwards. We're gonna take 5 shares. We're gonna put it into 1
It's ridiculous.
because. So Nathan, we're running out of time, but this is a good episode. Do you have any more sites that you use?
Yeah, the last thing I do is, like I was just saying, is I Google the ticker symbol, for example, Apple, or I'm gonna do FTR, Frontier. I do FTR, and this is literally what I type. I do FTR div hist, and it just comes up with the Nasdaq site, and it shows when the last time they've paid and how consistently they've paid their dividend. And
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
if they're paying their dividend consistently every quarter, or if it's a REIT every month, then I like that. I like consistent dividend payers.
Oh yeah, funny story. I was actually just wrote down here in my notes to bring up the Nasdaq site because going back to that, I do the same thing, but I'll type in whatever the stock or the fund is, and I'll type in dividend history. I'm not a lazy shit like you. Dividend history, and that Nasdaq site has proven to be the best one because there's other third-party sites that try to like show you, look at this dividend. This is all the information about the dividend, and they don't just do it for me. The Nasdaq one pulls up the last date it paid. It pulled up the XF date. It pulls on when the date is payable. We're gonna get into that on the dividend episode.
Oh yeah.
But it pulls up. You're able to see, have they ever missed the dividend payment? And that's one of the first things I look for when I know I'm getting into a long term. Have they ever missed the dividend payment? And you'd be surprised how many companies have never missed one, no matter how bad the economy was. Ford, Coca-Cola,
AT&T.
If I can steal the floor from you just real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
The only other site that you didn't mention that I really enjoy, I mentioned Y charts. That's not the one I'm talking about, but that's another one if you want to get into some charting and you want to look at the technicals and see how the stock is moving. And we'll do a technical episode, absolutely.
Oh yeah, we'll do a fundamental technical episode of all of them.
The other one I like, I don't know if you use it, is the Seeking Alpha site. Have you ever used Seeking Alpha or heard of it?
I know of Seeking Alpha, but mostly what I've seen from Seeking Alpha is mostly like editorials or should you buy this stock now? SeekingAlpha.com.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. So Seeking Alpha is basically like Twitter for stocks, and you follow the stocks. And anytime that someone posts anything and about those stocks, you get an alert and it tells you what the article was. Now, these aren't just like random people tweeting. These are editors for other firms. They work for either like the Wall Street Journal or some sort of editorial piece that does pieces for the internet on finance across the globe. So they're really, to be honest, if I can really be real, they're a bunch of nobodies that work for other people. And what they do for a living is they sit there, they watch these stocks, and then they write about them. Their job, they don't make money trading these stocks. That's not how they're making their living. They're making it writing about it to get you excited. So, but the reason that I like it is because it pulls out other people's opinions. You know, I can sit here, I can read the facts all day, but I want to get what the other sentiment about it is. And it pulls both sides to each coin. So if I'm following that stock and someone's like, top 3 reasons why you should sell Boeing, top 4 reasons why you need to buy it, top 10 reasons Boeing should be in everyone's retirement portfolio. That's what a lot of the stuff is. And granted, mostly I don't read a lot of it, but just from the alerts, I can tell what's going to happen that day and what the stock is doing that day. And I can also get alerts when they're releasing earnings, when their dividend date is coming up, all of it. So while it's not like the best source of information, it's a way to stay engaged in the stock. And I think that's something that's important, especially if you're an investor. You need to stay engaged and know what's going on at all times.
Now, I agree with that. I didn't even think about news resources as a source of market research. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even just going to CNN or Fox News or any kind of news outlet that has any kind of economic news that comes out that has any economic impact is going to
Yeah,
affect the
Fox
market.
Business. CNBC is my personal favorite of the big outlets. I don't Fox Business to me is boring. I just think CNBC delivers it better. Plus they got Kramer. They know nothing.
Yeah.
So
Quick
that was all I had for market.
quick mention about when you said these aren't just nobodies talking about stocks. There is a website called Stock Twits. It's
God.
literally a Twitter for stocks, and
Yeah, that's the literal stock Twitter.
it's it's atrocious. These people on
Stay
there,
away from stock twits, please, guys.
it's
Please.
cool.
It is cool. It's
The only reason I have ever used this is to flip penny stocks, and you can see which stocks are trending and which stocks are people are about to be bearish about, and I think it's kind of like shady because it kind of has a little bit of pump and dump kind of
Oh,
feel to
absolutely.
it.
There's people buy this, buy this. It's gonna go to the moon. Just hit the ask, bro. Hit the ask.
Yeah, someone once told me about it, and there's a couple people that I do follow on. I do have a StockTwits account. I look at it every day. I look at certain profiles that they're penny stock profiles, and this is my advice to anybody listening to this now. I don't put more than right now. I don't put more than $10 into penny stocks to try and flip because I can't afford to risk more to lose like my whole like life savings in a penny stock. It's not
Hmm.
worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, when we do our small account and penny stock episode, that's another one I want to do because we both do trade on smaller accounts,
Yeah,
and by
of
smaller I
course.
mean sub 25K.
Yes.
You know, in the stock world, $100,000 is nothing.
Yep.
That's the weird thing about this game. So when we're trading sub 25K, that's where we are the smallest pieces of shit there. Like we are nothing. We do
But
not move the market one bit. We're along for the ride.
that's very true, but that's no reason that we cannot invest and have knowledge to invest.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. If we over time, no matter what size your account is, it's about the gains. It's not about how much money you made that day. It's about your percentage. Because if you made 12% on $100, you did better than someone with $1 million who made 3%.
Yeah,
You did better. You
and
picked the stocks better.
that interest compounds yearly.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. Oh yeah, do the compounding. Compound. When we get into that dividend episode, it might have to be like an hour long special.
Yeah.
Because I'm a dividend queen. You kind of are. I'm
Yeah.
all about it. I know that you are too. So that'll be a fun
it'll
episode.
be a good episode.
When you get into compounding, that's when the game gets fun because that's when you're starting to make moves in your trading life. So, well, Nathan, we're approaching. I'm gonna be honest, we're actually well past our 30-minute time frame, which I'm
Woo!
okay with. This was a
Yeah,
good episode. This
had,
was
had
very
a great
knowledgeable. We
time.
didn't even have to go into the second topic. We'll save that for either Friday or Saturday. Real quick, is there? Let's get into the end of the week here. So real. This is you already said the date and stuff, right? It's
Hmm.
Tuesday. We're recording this around 5 o'clock Eastern time on March.
Wait, real
What's
quick
today? The
before
20th.
we sign off, what stock are you watching this week?
Oh no, I'm not signing off yet. We still got some more. We got a little bit more to do here.
Oh, do we?
Oh yeah, we got just a little bit.
All right, let's hit
Um,
it. Let's hit it.
so like I said, it is Tuesday, March 20th, about 5:30. Market closed a little bit ago. For the rest of the week, because this is gonna go up tonight. God, I hope I'm
It
gonna do
will.
everything in my power to get this up tonight.
It'll go up.
Uh, yeah, it's going up tonight, guys. Wednesday, things to watch for. Wednesday, you've got your existing home sales and crude inventories. Thursday, we don't have much going on, and Friday, we got a durable goods report and new home sales. So that's all those metrics are going to play into market sentiment, how we're feeling about our economy. You know, if existing home sales go up, we're not building stuff. If new home sales go up, we are, vice versa. Crude inventory is going to tell us how much oil we have. If we don't have a lot, your prices are going to go up for this weekend. If we do have a lot, it's going to go down this weekend. Funny little sidebar. People don't realize like these reports come out and that it dictates their life, like how their life is going and how their economy is going. They don't pay attention, but like these numbers mean everything as our economy moves forward. And as we progress as Americans, these numbers are dictating what is going to happen to
When
us
we
and our
when
well-being in life.
when we get into the foreign exchange, those housing numbers are definitely going to come into play.
Oh yeah, housing, durable goods, manufacturing, all that stuff. Forex, real quick, foreign exchange is literally just trading currencies. Rather than playing stocks, you're playing entire countries.
It's great.
So it's fun.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't do it. I want to. I'm gonna
I,
be honest.
I don't
Maybe
do it
Nathan
yet.
can inform
I
me.
don't do it yet, but man, I would love to jump in.
Yeah. So real quick, I did say I'm gonna plug Robinhood because we haven't done that yet. I'm gonna take 2 minutes. Robinhood, everybody, just like the men in tights. Robinhood, one word. It is an app if you are the slightest bit interested in trading and you only have a little bit of money, or hell, even if you have tons of money and you're ready to go. Download an app called Robinhood. It is 155% legitimate. It is a broker app. It is SIPC insured. It is insured through the government. It is 150% legit, I promise.
And we're not getting paid to say this either.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid to say it.
We're not
This
getting
is a
paid at
product
all.
I believe in. I believe in this company. They are zero commission trading, and their goal is to take down Wall Street. They're take down all the big fund managers, everyone that is taking your money, and they're trying to revolutionize the financial world. And I love every single bit of them. They're a great company. They're very reliable. I've never once ever had an issue with them. Everything is safe and secure, and it is so simple to use. Because if you go back to the first episode, I talked about how I was interested and looked at an E-Trade account, and the second I went to the welcome page, I said no. I couldn't deal with it. With Robinhood, it is so simple. It caters to the simplest of people. It's beautiful. I love every single thing about it. Check it out. Robinhood. Yes.
Yeah, the thing I like about Robinhood the best is definitely the commission-free trading. If you go to E-Trade or any other trading websites, trading or online brokerage, they charge you about. I've seen the least amount they charge you is about $5 per trade.
Let's think about this. Let's just use very easy numbers here. If you were to buy something on E-Trade once a week for 20 years, building your investment portfolio, that's 5 times 52. What's that? $2,600 or
That's
something like
honestly about what I do.
yeah, or 260. Well, how much is that? Am I crazy?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
5 times 52.
260.
Now do that for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. $5,200.
Woo! Do you know what that $5,000 could be over the course of 20 years?
That's student loan payments,
Probably
car payments.
literally 5 times that. That's
Yeah,
25 grand.
yeah.
That shaves a year off of you having to work. just by not trading commissions. So check it out. At least download it. If you're interested, download it. Get familiar with the software. Look at some stocks. Look at the charts. Look at those little ratios we were talking about. Just learn. Get in there. Just check it out. You don't have to commit. You can just download the app. You can download Angry Birds, right? Download Robinhood. Take a shit. Look at a chart. It's great.
That's most of the time when I look at Robinhood, I'm taking a shit. Take
a dump. Check out the hood. You know. So yeah, that was my quick plug. Nathan, you have any last thing before I ask you what you're watching?
I think that's it. I think I covered all my basic research thing. I'm sure when we get into fundamental and technical analysis, I'm ready for the future of this podcast, man. It's gonna be great.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially as we get more immersed, more comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Before we close out and I ask you that last question, okay. I just want to say thanks again for listening, everybody. We're hoping that the quality is getting better. I know the content is getting better.
Absolutely.
I hope the quality is getting better with between my editing. I'm trying a new microphone now, so I'm very curious how that's going to sound. We would love some feedback. You know, if you can't hear one of us, or you know something's wrong, or you want to insult us, you know, just feel free to email us, comment, whatever. We would love to hear from you, whether it's good, bad, you hate me, you want me to eat all the gluten and die.
And if we say something wrong, feel free to say that. I mean, if you we'll happily correct us on our podcast.
I'm here to learn too.
Exactly. If we're not learning from our mistakes, then we're only just being ignorant and teaching ignorance. So if you have something to tell us that's gonna help us, feel free to email us. Our email is rebeltradinggroup@gmail.com. Send us a line. I think that's all I had to say.
That's about all I have. We're going to start updating the show notes more. The stocks that we talk about, we're going to, if it's worth putting in the show notes, we'll put it in the show notes there so that you can check them out yourselves and see if it's something that you like. We're also going to put in just a little bit better descriptions and stuff there, so you can always refer to there if you don't understand what we're talking about. Nathan, what are you watching this week?
You know, you're going to love this. I am watching Ford. I am watching ticker symbol F, Ford. I bought 3 shares last week. Let me see how I'm doing on that. I think I'm down because it took a huge dip.
Yeah,
I'm down a little bit.
She had that run up. She had a nice run up to about the 1127 range, and then
that's about when I bought it.
I knew it was going to happen. A lot of people wanted to lock in profits there, but Morgan Stanley gave her a double upgrade. They went from a hold to an overweight. So on that news of the double upgrade, analyst earnings. That's another report. That's another podcast. Analyst earnings or analyst reports.
We've got a future.
But when they did that double upgrade, the bit shot up 5-6% before market, and I knew people were going to want to lock in profits as soon as it happened. I should have shorted the bitch, but I didn't. So she's sitting down back at 11. She dropped about 2% from her high, but she is moving. You know, I love my Ford. It's a fun one to watch. It's a fun one to play off of. Pays dividends. Great company. It's cheap.
Yep.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
What about you? What are you watching?
For me personally, I'm watching a fund actually.
Oh.
It's
ETFs.
Called the Power Chain.
Refer to our previous podcast about ETFs.
Yeah, if you're exchange traded funds, pop out to the last one. If you know what I'm talking about, it's ticker symbol PEY. That's Papa Echo Yankee. That's the Power Shares Exchange Traded Fund Trust Power Shares High Yield Dividend Achievers Fund.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I was honestly thinking about saying that.
What?
PEY, yeah, instead of Ford.
Really? Are you watching her?
I mean, yeah, of course.
She's on a small decline. You know, nothing to get excited about, but she's on a small decline. There's many things I love about her. She pays dividends every single month, and her price moves every single day. So there's a lot of money kind of floating around, and she's cheap. She's around $17 right now. She's pulled back from her highs, and it's a fund of stocks that have raised their dividends every year for at least the past 20 years.
That's nice. That's exactly what we were talking about today.
Exactly. That's something people want to invest in. Fuck Tesla. That's the shit you want.
Get your
No,
ass to Mars, Elon Musk.
I'm not trying to plug PUI, but that's personally what I'm watching. I'm thinking about taking a pretty significant stake in this pullback. I like it. I would use it as a core holding. I'm already in it a little bit, but I almost want to like just quadruple down and just open a full position in it.
Is there a triple leverage fund of that? Because that'd be dope.
Triple leverage dividend fund.
That's another podcast. Triple leverage funds.
Leverage. Oh, we dipped into that very
Yeah, we
briefly
did.
last.
Yeah,
But
I
we need to
spoke
tell
about that.
people why they do and don't need to go long on it.
Yes.
Why it needs to be all of your portfolio and none of your portfolio at the same exact time. Nathan, I think this was a great episode. I hate to say that it was the best one because we've only had 3 episodes, but I felt this was a great episode.
This is one of my favorite topics, is market research, and
Market research.
I come from political science background, and research is one of our main tannins of our science. So I love this shit.
Yeah, it's fun. It is a lot of fun. And market research, we talked about kind of like the methods. We can actually get into like some of the ratios that you want to look at and some of the stuff that I like to look at and some of the stuff you like to look at when you're
Yep.
evaluating a company. So rather than market research, we can do market valuations as one of our upcoming episodes. We got a lot coming to you guys.
Yeah.
This is fun. I hope
Absolutely.
I hope people are learning stuff, man. I really hope I hope we've impacted one life, Nathan. If I've done all this and I changed one person, I'm happy.
Oh, okay. Before we sign off, today is my mother's birthday. Happy birthday,
Woo!
Miss Oliphant.
Happy birthday.
She's turning a happy 21 today. Thank you, Mom.
21 again.
Yeah, she's
What's
turning
that, like
21.
29 years in a row?
Yeah, she's a young one.
Wow.
So happy birthday, Mom. Thank you for all that you do. I appreciate your love and support, and I hope you have a great day.
Well, happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, I had a blast. I love
great.
you.
I love you.
This was fun. I hope we had a significant impact on someone. Once again, real quick, the email if you want to insult us, comment us, suggest something, or even ask us a question. rebeltradinggroup@gmail.com. That is trading group with the 2 G's there, GG. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Have a good week.
Have a good one. Happy trading. See you on Friday.